Hey y'all, welcome to this week's Cafecito. It is, what is it, October 18th, 2023, and today is an amazing day. We're gonna have a great conversation with our guest for today, Jessy. Welcome, Jessy. Do you have your cafecito?
I have it with me. I'm ready. Hola, hola.
Hola, hola. So this is exciting. I like this conversation because I see Jessy at all of the functions where we're united, and she is just always there, a trooper, and just con corazón y todo. Like you are just like those types of people that have great energy and you want to be around, and just like you can trust with something, in there. And I just appreciate you so much. And I'm like, I gotta get to know her more, and we have to have a cafecito, and we have to chat because you are so engaged with the community and do so many things. So first, give us a introduction on Jessy.
Jessy. Who's Jessy? First of all, I'm a mom of two middle schoolers, 12 and 11 years old. I'm a Latina. I'm Peruvian. I moved to the US in 2009. I love being here. Broward is what I call now home. And yes, when you mentioned that I'm everywhere. I try to reach as many people that I can, because community for me was really good when I need it. So it's I guess my way to inspire other people and let them know that they're not alone. We're here. For most of us that wasn't born here, that we are immigrants, sometimes can be tough when you don't have family here, and you don't have your friends, and you don't have the life that you used to have, right? And you have to create this new village. It's important to have people around smiling, just smiling at you, to
Yeah,
make you feel welcome.
yeah, yeah. And you may receive that, but you also do that for so many people. Look, we got Joanna's on. Qué emoción escucharlas. Gina wrote Peruvian too, so Peruvians in the house.
Arriba Perú.
So today we're talking about connections and building powerful connections, which is, I think, one of the first times that when I met you or around was when you were supporting someone that was running for office, right?
Yes.
Um, and I just thought that was like, wow, man, she is engaged. Like she is doing out there, and you're just supporting. And I know now you're with a nonprofit, which you are like such an advocate for them. Wow, what a blessing for them to have you on board because you are such an advocate for the cause, for the mission. Give us a little bit about that, real quick.
Right now I'm donor relations manager for Kids in Distress and Family Central, but I actually started as a client back in 2013. And yeah, I truly, completely believe in our missions. I started as a client for a hippie program that is called a home instruction for parents of preschoolers, youngsters. Again, I was alone here in the US with my two little kids going through a divorce. And I had this home visitor from Family Central coming to my house saying, hey, we have something to offer you for free to empower you as a parent, and you became the first teacher of your kids. Uh, and best of all was in my language, because this program is designed in English and in Spanish. And for me, at that point, was really important to keep at least my language with my kids. Was my way to feel not that lost at that moment in my life. So they were truly alive for me. And 6 months later that I was working on that program as a client with my kids, they were having a position in the Miami office. So I applied. At that moment, I was a stay home mom, and I really need to looking for a job, a full time job at that moment. And Family Central opened the doors for me, and just not open the doors professionally. At that moment, they give me some kind of dignity, if it's the word. so that's how I start with Family Central back in 2019. Family Central and Kids in Distress joined forces, and now we are one of the nonprofit, probably the largest nonprofit serving South Florida children and families from Miami to Palm Beach.
Wow.
And that's why I'm so passionate about these two companies. I've been in different capacities, working in these companies for the last 10 years. Um, at some point, I get involved also with United Way, that opened uh, even more doors for me. And yeah, that's how I get involved with this. In my role, I also had a class called PLTI, Parent Leadership Training Institute. So when you met me, I was supporting actually someone who was running for office after graduating from this program. And this program, what makes is build or help parents or caregivers to develop this skill of advocacy for the betterment of our community. Who better than a parent or a caregiver to advocate for their own children, their own families? And of course, that is going to replicate or resonate in the whole community. I was graduated from that program, and I'm now a facilitator for that program too. That give me the power or the sense of responsibility. We just don't have rights here in the US, right? And I'm talking to everybody, especially for the Latinas, when or the Latino families that came here, that this country with so many rights and benefits, but we have also uh, we need to take part of all this new culture, right? And own our decisions and had a voice, and that's what PLTI gave to me. And my way to support that was supporting this candidate that was running at that moment, that I feel was the right person to have a seat on the table and advocate for us.
That's awesome. I love that story, and we're getting a couple comments here. Latinos need to stick to connect and stick together, empowering and uplifting others to encourage and assist in life's journey. And that is so true, right? That is oftentimes many of us are like you're operating in your own silo. You're dealing with your own pile of crap. You're trying to figure it out on your own. You're trying to just, put it together. But the power of all of us, like we can so easily understand each other and empathize, with each other, and really, we are parents, we are daughters, and so like we can really understand what somebody's going through, and that is the real centralness of our community, right? Is really coming together and being vulnerable and saying, I'm going through this, or this is happening, or I'm looking for a new position, or just having the community where we can understand and connect with each other, and yes, assist in life's journeys. That's what really is the power of of what happens when we come together. Somebody else wrote, moved to Palm Beach County recently. Okay, wow, this is a great platform. Preach. Okay, so I don't know if which one is next. I can't see your name actually, but that's powerful. So you have built, since you've gotten here, like connections. You know a lot of people in the county. So let's talk about that for a little bit. Let's talk about building strong connections and strong communities. Let's talk about the networking aspect, the how do I know what events are going on? How do I find these things? How do I build relationships with people in the community? And I think a lot of that is vulnerability too. But what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are that you can't take something that you don't give. My thoughts are that in this field that I'm working now for the last 10 years, it's essential, it's vital to build relationships. How you say it, we can work on silos. We need to work together. We need to be able to link people, not just refer them. We
Yeah.
need to link them to make sure that they are guided in the right path, right? Try to make things easier if you, especially if you already walk those paths.
Absolutely.
um, how do I listen? You have to listen. You have to listen to understand what is the need, what do we need. How do I find events? Again, it's through my networks that I have built during all these years. But try to keep to be on top of everything, right? I know some people said the social media, but it's needed, like politics, right? To be honest, before this girl, I one was of those people that say no, I don't like politics. Well, still probably I don't like them, but we need them.
Yeah, yeah,
Needed, right? And again, I think talking, be open. Um, if I can suggest something to anybody that I know, it's smile.
yeah,
Something so simple like give a smile
yeah,
to, right? How important is that? That's how you open. That's the first way that you open the doors to anybody around you.
yeah. I love that so much because a smile is so profoundly powerful and we underestimate it. Like there's women that I know that are just, I mean, they're getting more confident, but I mean, they've been shy. You know, they're shy to go or to start a conversation with people. And it was one of the reasons why United Latinas even exists. When I used to go networking, there were no Latinas, networking or having conversations. But I love that you said that because even going to an event and just showing up as someone that wants to connect and be and just meet the person, not sell or do or push or just be completely just go to meet people sincerely and get to know who they are, what they're interested in, and you will unravel like this web of connections because they will open doors for you, not because you came up to them and said, hey, here's my business card, let's talk later, but because you said, hey, how are you, who are you, asking getting to know someone, and they'll remember that. Oh, I remember, we had a great conversation because it wasn't self-interested. So when we think about like building strong connections, it's always, I love that you said it, go to give first, before you can take anything out, and go and give someone your time and get to know a little bit about them that will allow them to feel like they're heard. Just like we all want to feel like we're being listened to, like we're heard, our voice matters in some way.
Yes, and also you have to be patient because sometimes you don't know when it's going to come back to you. Uh, what you say, you don't know what is going to be in the future for you with that person. Never. Um, and we are, and I say we because you are also in the community. We are in a blessed position, regardless that this craziness that we see in this world. Um, always have hope, right? Because there's a lot of people doing great things, and that's something that we need to focus on because it's so easy to be to feel down, um, that get lost in all this cruelty around us. That let's try to find the light. Let's try to find the light in others. Let's try to bring light.
Yeah.
um I think that's powerful.
Yeah, I love that. When I used to go to event, I used to look for like the meanest looking person, like whoever just had like a face. I'm like, oh, this is a challenge. Let me go, and it's always just someone being nice and kind and asking questions that really allow them to be like, wow, nobody's, ever cared that much to ask me that, or they were, you know, so like I always look for like who. Thankfully, we don't have a lot of that here and within our community. Everybody comes with a happy face, with it like just great energy for the most part. I mean, I don't know, I haven't, you know but always just try to find someone that isn't could be in a sad or a mean face, kind of is always a good idea to test your ability to let me see, if I can energetically impact and empower this person as a stranger just by communicating with them, right? We can test the boundaries, and I think that that's a lot of what I've done in my life that has allowed me to kind of realize that we really do have the power to impact people on a really, really deep level that is meaningful to them, where they may not remember your name, but they'll remember how they felt. And, oh man, I had a great time. Nothing special happened, nothing like crazy, but just some conversations were so healthy and so beautiful. And that is impacting the world. That is making a difference, and just having some of those like subtle conversations with individuals.
Yeah, and also it's about what you are leaving to this world, no? And I think I mentioned to you before, it's about legacy, right? It's legacy for the young people, it's legacy for our kids. When I just started in this business, in this nonprofit field, the former CEO for Family Central had a message on her phone, Barbara Weinstein. When you call her, she said, sorry, I can take your call now because I'm saving the world. The first time that I listened to that message was very impactful for me. And that's what I tell my kids, right? When now I understand better what I do, but when they were little, I always tell them, Mom, what do you do? I save the world. I get paid for saving the world. I get paid for helping people. How amazing is that, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and when you said there's always someone watching you, it's and most of the time it's these young kids, right? Looking at you saying, oh, hey, that is possible, right? I can do that too.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, I go back to the smile part and the positive part, right? Try to inject that in people. It's important.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and it doesn't show me your name, but comment. I cannot say how often I'm the only Latina in the room at local events. We need to change that. People will come. People people will welcome you, and you will be remembered. Yeah. Where are you, by the way? Because you need to. If you're in Florida, we got some events for you. But if you're
Wait,
not in Florida, I'm sure that there's people that we can connect with and make sure you're not the only Latina in the room. Because that's exactly what happened to me. Going back to that story, is I was the only Latina in the room, and it's hard to feel, because this is kind of what stemmed this conversation that I had. With somebody in the past that says, even showing up in those places when you are the only Latina, sometimes you're like, I'm like the odd one here. Like I'm not American enough to be in this space. So, some of those thoughts can creep into your brain, and then you feel the same way if, when you go back to your country, you're not American enough. You're not, Latina enough, because we're torn between these two identities that we are, these two complete different cultures. But when we go to events and we're the only Latina there, yeah, that's hence United Latinas. That's kind of here in Jacksonville. Oh, we have a chapter. I can't see your name, and it hasn't loaded yet on the phone. But we have a chapter starting in Jacksonville. Oh, it's Annie. You are the one that's going to be starting the chapter in Jacksonville. So yeah, so this is going to be great, because I'm sure that there are women that feel the same way, right? We need to find and really build those communities. Build it, and they will come, right? Come put those events, and I can't wait to get started. For you to start those events, Annie, in Jacksonville. Put it out there, and all of these women that feel unseen, unconnected, disconnected, not feeling heard, not feeling to have a space where they can be vulnerable, not going to events and hugging each other and loving on each other and giving each other good energy and empowering each other. Like, that is so needed. That's healthy and keeps us healthy. In our relationship pillar of who we need to be. But this is exciting. So what else? What else can we do to really? And I know we're wrapping up because we're on time. But what else can we do? Or what are your thoughts?
use whatever tools do you have. Don't think that is going to be not good. If you have social platforms, share what you get, share different events. Sometimes my friends say, I don't really understand what you do, because you share so many things that you get me confused. To be honest, that's for me, that's the goal. That's the main reason of my social medias. For example, share as much as I can. Probably some post that I share or some story that I share is going to be good for you, Sandra, but it's not going to be good for Annie. I don't know in what moment some any kind of information is going to be useful, to someone. So that's what I think. We need to share as much as possible the information that we get.
Yeah.
The other thing is not just making connections, is taking care of those connections, right? Steward those connections, like
Yep.
making calls once in a while. Don't take for granted things.
Yeah.
We can take things for granted. You have to invest some time, maybe a phone call, maybe a text message. Understand also what is the better way to connect with the people,
I love
right?
that. Mm.
Because if you are a very very busy person, probably you're not going to be able to take a phone from me. But if I text you, hey, let me know when you are free, or just to check on you, I hope that everything is okay with you. um Again, it's first start thinking what the people need, right? And also be brave, and when you need something, like, speak out, right? Say it, because you can get something that you are not asking for, right? So say it aloud.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. That is such a powerful statement. And I think that we all need to really practice more of that, Um, all right. So I know we're closing in on time. What, any last closing, and then we'll put your link. Well, you are connected here on this thing on your LinkedIn. So, connect with Jessy. For those of you that are watching this, you'll see her name and her LinkedIn link up top. Um, but close us out. Close us out. Give us some.
Connections are needed. Don't be isolated. uh Honestly, you're not alone. It's always someone able, willing to help you. We need each other. Show up. And talking to the Latina, we need representation. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't. We need to break those barriers. We need to build those bridges, right? Let's connect. Let's talk to each other. And allow us to be vulnerable too, right? It's not, for those that know me and knows that I'm very positive. It's not that I'm happy all the time. No, I'm aware of my feelings, and I allow me to feel, and I allow me to be not okay when I'm not okay, and that's good. So that's my message. Let's try to be honest first with ourselves. Let's try to know ourselves first, and knowing you, it's easier to know more people.
I love that. Jessy, it has been a pleasure to have you on Cafecito and enjoy a little coffee and a chat with you. Uh, Hope you guys are enjoying the rest of your day. Catch us next week for our next Cafecito. It's every Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern. We got some additional events coming up, and we got to post a recap of our conference. So you guys will see some of those pictures coming up on LinkedIn soon. But thank you so much. Have a blessed day. Go out there, be brave, own your courage. Go do what you need to do. The world is going to open its doors for you, because when you take action, that's the first step, right? Taking that initial action, and the world says, okay, where do you want to go? Versus taking zero action. Zero action will get you zero places, but taking some action will take you to some places. Taking a lot of action will take you to a lot of different places. So enjoy your life, and we will see you next week.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, Jessy.